Shout out to Leo.
Come on,
Yeah, and the surface.
back for another video.
That's right, and he's back on King Kai Media. We're just, you know what I mean, we're in the studio right now. We're chopping it up. Shout out all the mandem. Denmark's just scored now. Wow.
Oh shit, 1-1.
Okay, so on the topic of football, I've got a few questions I want to ask you about the World Cup, since we're in the World Cup sort of theme of things.
Let's get into it, man.
No doubt. So what are your thoughts in regards to Qatar hosting the World Cup?
I think I'm completely cool with it. I think every single country should have the ability to host the World Cup. There's a lot of like commotion around the whole like LGBTQ.
That's correct, yeah.
Is it the alphabet community?
Nah, so the LGBT community, so it's
It's not alphabet.
I wouldn't call it the alphabet, mate, but it's
Because I don't know. There's more. That's
yeah,
we
call it the rainbow, rainbow people.
No disrespect. Actually, full disrespect. I'm joking. Either way, yeah. So obviously, I think there's a couple people. I think Harry Kane had like a ban. Take it off and whatever.
Right.
You know what? Every country's got a different culture, so I can't understand that, you know, if they've got a certain culture and that's what they're on, then who are we to go and then tell them what agenda they should be having or what they should
So in regards to the theory of when in Rome, do as the Romans do, so that's what you'd probably most likely try to say. So in fact in Qatar it's illegal to have any sort of relation between same sort of people. You'd basically say let them do what they do, and then in Europe we do what we do, sort of thing.
Do you know what? So I have this interesting outlook in life. I call it the map of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think every single person
Elaborate, that's interesting, man.
Their own map of the world. So for example, you know, someone in Qatar will say that homosexuals are, you know, I don't know, against God and they're not right. That's the map of the world.
That's right.
And down here, the might be a person might say, you know what, I don't even mind them as long as they don't touch me or whatever.
Yeah.
That's their map of the world. And
as in there's tolerance for that, or just they're over there and people are over here.
Do you know what? I'll just put it as like belief templates. So like there'll be a person in Qatar and a person in London.
Yeah.
You have completely different belief templates. So they believe in different things. They have different values, and that's what it is. So sometimes it's good to just recognize and go, you know what, that's their thing, but who are we to go tell them what they need to do?
Sure, so
are we like the world police?
We need to police the UK more, like there's a lot of problems.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a little bit of like, you know what, I'll use an example, yeah? It's like if I said, you know what, if I said I don't believe in unicorns, I don't think they exist, and then another person goes, you know what, unicorns exist, and then he told me I should believe in that, that's when it becomes a problem. But it's about recognizing, look,
so forcing other people's beliefs onto yourself.
Yeah, I think that's when it gets a bit
technical, for sure.
But I feel like everyone believes like different things, innit? So
human rights, innit? Everyone don't believe what they want, and they should throw on people's throats.
And they should respect people's beliefs. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's like, let me put it this way: if someone's coming down from Qatar, they come down to London, and let's say they see, you know, gay people walking down the street and holding hands. They're not. They might feel disgusted based on the culture, but they're not going to go do nothing about it. So they're going with the country's culture,
as in obeying the law of the land, sort of thing, and the way of life.
Okay. So and that's the thing. Like some people always feel like they've got this like privilege of going to another country and telling them how they should be,
which is incorrect.
You go in the country, and just going back to the starting point, it's like even if there's those issues that are existing already, I think people should still be able to host the World Cup.
No doubt, no doubt.
Within different cultures.
Oh, perfect.
Life would be boring if it was everyone's the same. It's like, bro.
Yeah, we are. We're all different in our own different ways. Got our own different lifestyles, the way we live and maintain. Do you think politics should get involved in football? Considering football's a sport and politics is a way of life and a conditioning.
To me, that question is a little bit deeper than just that,
In what regards? What do you mean by deeper?
So I see life as centralized versus decentralized.
Wow. Okay. Elaborate. What does that mean?
So for example, what it means is like someone having a control over something from one central point. Or people having a say as a majority over something.
Oh, so we say the government versus the masses of the people.
Well, kind of, yeah. So there's a sense of like freedom. So for example, I'd say music labels are centralized.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll control the music industry.
Content controllers, music. Okay.
It goes through like a couple people, and you know they push it out, whatever.
Yeah.
I think government So the thing about government being involved in football is they would have control over saying what happens in football. So it's about centralization. It becomes centralized rather than decentralized.
But what I'm trying to get at is football's a sport, so it's meant to be played as in between two opponents, and the political agenda of the two opponents shouldn't be implemented in football. But what we're having at this World Cup is we're getting a lot of issues whereby people are now when the football should be taking place, people are now putting out political agendas. What I'm trying to get at is, what is your thoughts on this? Should the football and politics be separate, or should it be all intertwined?
I think it should be separate, but you know what it is? I think for the nature of politics, they'll find an avenue where they can influence anywhere. So that's what they like doing that anyways. They wanna like influence things and use, like, for example, Twitter is one of them. They were using Twitter for the political gains for a very long period of time until Elon Musk took over. Football wouldn't be any different. Like, there's just loads of different platforms for the government to utilize to create their own game for power, and who's sitting in the chair and who's like, it's just always a stupid game, man. It's like, if you look at, like, bro, looking at the Common House,
the House of Commons, where the Parliament is.
The debates they have, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
They're like, oh, Mr. Speaker, this
making loads of noise.
I look at it, I'm like, they spend hours preparing these
statements and whatnot, and they don't even get a result.
And I know these men learned that in the college and uni, and into politics, so they train to become that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, it's all silly games, like who's like the Prime Minister, who's this, who's whatever, and it's just all of their mentality is pretty much the same. I don't believe that someone in the government can just go and make a real change. The reason being is because they don't have outside the box thinkers. They just follow the same procedure that's been there before.
So do you think the government can change an individual's life for the better, or does it take accountability from the individual to say, listen, look, they're sick and tired of living the way they are, sick and tired, and that they need to now take accountability and say, listen, look, I can't live like this no more? Or can the government just come over the next, let's say tomorrow, and say, listen, look, I'm going to help you? Do you think the government can actually change an individual to have a better life?
You know what? That's what the government wants anyways, but this is the thing.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to everything.
Give me your pros in regards to government for an individual and then the cons.
Let me put it this way. So government's about to create a central bank digital currency.
Okay, wow, okay. And what's that? So the viewers that don't understand.
Digital currency. So the society is going to become cashless.
Wow.
You know what's funny? We've almost done the full circle. So when money first came out, we used to have to go to the bank to get money out. And then cash machines came out. And people, listen, when cash machines were coming out, people was like, oh my God, this is crazy. There's a box in the wall giving out. It sounded nuts. It sounded impossible. The thing came out, and now it's done a full circle. The cash machine is going to disappear again.
Unfortunately.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, so the central bank digital currencies, let's say I have a certain amount of money in my account. The government can then program that money that it can only be spent on specific things. For example, if someone's like, going back to if the government can make someone's life better, let's say someone's an alcoholic, the government could then go program the money where they can't buy alcohol. So whether that's a good or a bad thing, that's a whole different conversation. Because they would be claiming that they're doing it for the good of the person, but it comes at the cost of freedom.
And unfortunately, that sabotages someone's free will, which then the government take over.
And then there's a whole conversation around, like, maybe you can still get it in another way.
So would you say the government make a positive change for an individual's life, or is it up to the individual to change their life for the better?
The government.
Fair enough. Okay.
Do you know what it is? You know what? Let me be honest with you. I think if we had government done in the right way, we need government helps the world function, but we've not had a government done in the right way, and it's all fucking stupid political games.
It's all like greed and
self-interest,
self-interest. It was for the government. Having a government is very important because it gives structure and makes everything work how it needs to work. But when the government is they're selfish, all greed, and they don't care about you, then it's a whole different story. Because poverty starts, and then when the poor gets hungry, then the rich get attacked. And that's how the cycle goes. And the police get
so how can society eradicate poverty? That's the next question.
Do you know what? I got a plan, We need to get the government officials, we need to sit them down on the chair, we need to get some youths from the ends and punch them in the face. And just tell them,
so violence is going to solve poverty.
No, listen. So they understand that this is what they use are going through every single day. They're getting punched in the face, physically and metaphorically, bro. Yeah, so physically they might get punched in the face, they might get in a fight. Metaphorically, they're getting punched in the face by life and their conditions they're living in. You feel me? So the government officials need to sit down, get punched in the face, and then understand and emphasize. You know what it is, yeah? Let me use this metaphor. This is what's happening with the government, yeah? Alright, if I go to Spain, yeah, and I come back from Spain, as much as I try to explain to you what Spain is like, you won't understand until you go there.
No doubt.
And the thing with the government, people in the government, they don't understand what people are experiencing on the ground. If they experience the same thing, their decisions would change. They'd be doing things differently. That's what it is, man. So yeah, I need to get them on the seat, punch them in the face. You get me?
And take it from there. Fair enough, fair enough.
Take it from there.
Fair enough. And I'm going into the final question now. What are your thoughts on England taking the World Cup now, when the theme of the World Cup and then win the World Cup month? What's the possibilities? What are your thoughts? Do you think England can bring it home?
I love it. Brazil, baby.
Bro, you know what it is, yeah?
Who's your best bet, mate? Go on.
Even though I live here, yeah, I fully...
You're not immersed by the footballing culture that they have here.
Like what this country was on from before, like the whole like colonization thing and just.
Okay, the Crusades.
Bro, it's nuts, and obviously it's kind of like in the past, and obviously there's some things that are still.
But history always repeats itself, doesn't it?
Bro, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, man, it's... Yeah, so like, I'm not really like a football fan anyways, but I've got my reasons for that. It's not because I don't like the game, like I watch games here and there, like I enjoy watching it, but I feel like it's just so overrated. It's become a business. It's like boxing. Boxing is a business about the brands, about setting up the right fights for the money. That's what football's like.
It's a business now, you're right.
What team is going to sign the most popular player so they can make more money? Because it's just a business, bro. They're all like machines for some people managing the thing to make a living out of it, and they're utilising other people's talent too.
And on the back of that, actually, there's a fun fact. Unfortunately, there's actually a bad fact in regards to when England play, 60% of domestic violence actually goes up. And when England lose, up to 80% of this domestic violence goes up. So, yeah, a lot of people are taking substances and drinking to soothe the pain in regards to England winning or losing and taking it out on the other half, unfortunately. So, yeah.
It's just true, man. It's a thing, bro.
Yeah, so domestic violence in football isn't a good thing. But then, yeah, I totally hear what you're saying in regards to the business aspect, that football's now become a business and less of a sporting venture. And
by the way, also, sorry to interrupt. There's also another thing that I find really fascinating, And this is not like I don't really judge. If that's what people want to do, that's cool. I just find it fascinating how there's so many people in London who are not even English and they be supporting England rather than something from their own roots.
Do you know what it is? They've been brainwashed, or how can we say it, culturally assimilated. So they forget where they're from and then they believe a certain way, but push comes to shove, you know what I'm saying, it's not that, if that makes sense, if you know where I'm coming from, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess people are stuck in their ways, sort of thing.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, as I said, I just had Leo on here. Check out his podcast, Beyond the Surface, hard-hitting topics, and light-hearted banter as well, to mixed together. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And have you got any quick shout-outs, Leo, or any few words to say?
No shout-outs. Actually, what do I want to say? You know what? This is what I want to say.
Yeah.
If things happen for a reason, create more reasons for things to happen.
Oh wow, okay. It's a very philosophical way of thinking. So it's a deeper meaning and a bigger understanding. But yeah, on that note, man, much appreciated for having me on King Kyle Media. Take care, Leo, man. Respect.